Martin, and you've been behind this cause, obviously, as well as a million. You've been arrested more times than that troublemaker Jane Fonda.
Oh my God,
your TV wife. But Martin, I mean, I was saying to Nadia, and isn't it really stunning when you think about the fact that these brave Russians are in the streets trying to, throw out their dictator. There was rioting here to install a dictator. These Capitol riots here, right? Or to keep a dictator in power.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry?
Yeah, but I mean, the irony of that, right? That in Russia, I said to Nadia, we just, overthrew our dictator. I wish you luck in overthrowing yours. But I mean...
would that they had a fair election. It would have happened a very long time ago, as Malcolm could testify.
Yeah. Mm. Well, I mean, yeah, it really is. But that is real bravery. Right, Martin? Yeah, I mean, I'm not denigrating your 1,000 arrests and all that, but you are Martin Sheen. I'm sure you were treated very tenderly.
Occasionally, yeah.
But, we missed brunch for our protesting here in the United States, right, Malcolm? Yeah. But I mean, these protesters are risking, including Nadia, being killed. I mean, she already did, right?
Yeah, there's no question about it. I think with these last protest, supporting Navalny, they were risking their lives. There's no question about it. And the cops are going out of their way, beating people, and they're doing it right up on camera. They know the cameras are there. They just don't give a damn. Yeah. They're saying if you have a public voice, we're going to silence it. If we have to knock all your teeth out and bash your brains in, that's what they're doing.
Yeah. And Malcolm, as a terrorism expert, this has obviously been an enormous domestic terrorist attack on our soil, on our capital. And, we just had Chairman Yarmouth on, and we were saying if anything would be bipartisan, right? You both were attacked. They were going to hang Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi, right? But it just, I mean, you were talking about even some on the far left, our friend Glenn Greenwald, you said again reveals why he's the right wing's favorite faux liberal apologist. He claims all the stories about Capitol Hill insurrection attackers carrying zip ties were fake news. I'm like, what? We saw them on tape, right?
Well, don't believe us. Don't believe your lying eyes. Right. You would think that it would be a matter of national patriotism and trying to defend the nation. But that's where things have devolved thus. In Trump trying to be the first American, he was the first American autocrat president. And it was a close thing. We almost came very, very within a hair's breadth of losing democracy. And now we see that they're quintupling down on that. Lindsey Graham saying that the highest priority is taking back the House so that they can impeach Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
They just said that this morning. I mean, we now have, the fight to defend American democracy and spread our message we've been spreading for 200 years around the world, that the American experiment is not just an experiment, that it is a true fact that must be guarded at all times. And Nadia and the other singers in Pussy Riot, they really are Victor Laszlo of our period. They're trying to reach out to people who yearn for democracy. And the one thing that Vladimir Putin, ex-KGB, ex-communist, really hates is the very fact that American democracy is now apparently resurgent. And we all have to start right now, not only to keep it in our country, but to aid other people in their countries.
Yeah. Martin, your boss, Janet Sheen, said she wanted you and me and Malcolm to be on together because that would really scare Putin. And I'm sure he's like, the girl with the fart jokes? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to... I will step down now. but, Malcolm makes a point that, talking about impeaching Kamala Harris. This headline, Fox News host floats impeachment for Nancy Pelosi over her role in the Capitol attack. I mean,
yes, I suspected her from the very beginning.
Nothing gets by you, Martin. But I mean, even this, they're going to,
yeah.
right, go ahead. But even this, they're going to try to flip the script that somehow this is, they tried to blame, there's a percentage of Republicans that blame Joe Biden for the Capitol attack. I mean,
well, in a way, he was responsible because he got elected.
Yes, darn him. Right.
That was his first step, you know.
Right.
You know, this has been going on for a very long time, and it's like a running, what do you call it, reality TV, you know, for you know, the last 5 years. And it's such a hit that they've got to keep it going. So they have all these different scenarios. And when it got really clear that DJ was going to get whooped, it started to enter the script. Well, what if he loses, you know? How does that play out? He said, well, we'll have a coup, you know, and that's exactly what he did. You know, he started, you know, with the post office, and he flat out said, you know, we got to get rid of the ballots. I mean, he's quoted as saying that. Yeah. And he meant it. You know, if we could get rid of the ballots, why, we'll have it made. And he would have. Yeah. But people woke up to that reality and changed the script again. And then he started planning very late in the summer that it would be a coup, and that he had enough support that he could succeed. There's no joke about it. Yeah, it was a coup.
Must be how you felt when the, you know, West Wing was finally over. You're like, oh, I can finally shop at the supermarket without being hassled. And then you're like, oh, Netflix. Now they won't let me alone. Now the prescription drugs. And okay, so now I love this. You're playing J. Edgar Hoover, which I just find hilarious. In Judas,
Wait, what?
Judas and the Black Messiah, which is what we call Malcolm. It is in theaters.
Have you all seen it?
No, it's in theaters and HBO Max.
You haven't seen it?
I have not seen
yet.
it.
It comes out this week.
Yeah,
but I have a very tiny part. I play the worst cracker who ever had a public life, J. Edgar Hoover. And one scene.
Did you say cracker?
Yes, he did.
Did you say the worst cracker? Is that what you said?
J. Edgar Hoover was the worst cracker that ever had a public life.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I thought you did. Yes, you said I played one of the worst villains imaginable and who had a different public persona, but personally he was a wretched man. He destroyed a lot of lives, including a lot of black lives, and I wasn't very happy playing him. I did everything I could not to play him. How much? First of all, we need to know how much money did they have to give you, and secondly, it was. But you said because of the people involved, the director, etc. Right?
Yeah, Shaka King, a young director, very committed, extraordinary man, and he made an uncompromising movie. You guys got to see it. And the two guys
can't wait to see it.
That played the guy that plays Fred. It's a story of Fred Hampton, the young Black Panther leader in Chicago. Who was murdered at age 21. They were so terrified of this guy, he was going to become the next Black Messiah, because we just lost Reverend King a few months prior, and they were going to make sure there was not a Reverend King or a Malcolm X. And this guy was the combination of the two, really. He was socially committed, and he was all in for representing the Black community, and they saw it coming, and they nipped it in the bud. And his spirit is very much alive. But the movie is so uncompromising on every level. It's very, very powerful.
Well, and, speaking of which, I'm
proud to be in it. I'm just not proud to have played that.
Martin, Martin, that's why they call it acting. Okay.
Yeah, I
know. No, I can only watch you in so many things because you are the best actor in the world. And I told Janet that I happened to, here was my insomnia movie the other night, was, I think it's called Almost Love, with you and Jennifer Aniston and Aaron Eckhart. You play his father-in-law. Really? Yeah. And you had me, I'm in quarantine lockdown. I'm very tightly wound as it is. And you had me in tears. The scene with you.
It's your own fault.
The scene with you and Aaron Eckhart when he's crying, and you had me crying so hard. And then in the last scene, when the parrot that you hated comes home and you have a conversation with the parrot all the way into your front door, you just keep saying hello to each other. That had me laughing so hard. Then I peed the bed after I cried. So I hope you're happy.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it was better than Allison Janney's bird work in I, Tonya, but it was really very fine bird acting that you did.
All right. Thank
So,
you.
Martin, Malcolm, I know you guys are friends, and so
Yeah.
the Nadia and Pussy Riot and all that stuff has been a cause. But you are so passionate about so many causes, which you don't need to be, Martin. On top of your incredible career torturing me emotionally, but what drew you to that particular cause, to what's happening in Russia right now?
Well, I have been, I think I was born an activist, but both of my parents were immigrants. I came from a very large family. And my father worked in a factory most of his life, and there was no union. So that said it all. We realized that you have to fight for what is right and what is morally right. It wasn't just that it's a fair deal; it's morally right. And I grew up with that. And I started caddying at a very exclusive private club in Ohio. And I saw very clearly how those guys lived, and none of them inspired me. I did not want to be like one of them. I had nothing against them. I worked for them and saw them with their hair down. And when I was 14, I started a caddy union, and it lasted about 72 hours, and I was fired. And later they called me back because I was that good at caddy. I'd started caddying when I was 9. So
yeah.
I hate to admit how long ago that was, but it was 1949.
Bagger Vance.
I started the union in 1954. So it was second nature to me. It's just which side are you on? It was very clear, from the time I started walking around and saw how things were different in where I grew up and where I worked. And so it's still there.
So you worked at all Republican country clubs with black lawn jockeys, and now Malcolm Nance is your best friend. So you see, Malcolm, Malcolm, but before we go, what this QAnon, you talked about, about military and intel pros who pushed QAnon. I mean, how we have so much cleanup work to do, but I think just politically too, Martin, we were saying about, this QAnon, we don't have a shared set of facts, a shared experience. And, there's all these stories about how do we bring people back from this QAnon thing. There's a lot of stories about friends and family that are trying, and some people are coming back from down the rabbit hole, and some people are not, right? This whole QAnon phenomenon.
That lie is stuck so deep in the throat, they can't breathe free. And it's only when they can clear their throat and take responsibility for their own lives and their own truth. It's then it begins to make sense. I think that the support for DJ is starting to wane, and it's on the way. We can see it fading, and his desperation to get it back, and it's not going to happen. Yeah. People are starting to wake up, even people who are very close supporters, people who work for him. And people that voted for him, they're beginning to realize that they are far better on every conceivable level than he is. They're far more honest. They're far more intelligent. They're far less judgmental. They're just far better human beings than he is. He cannot speak for them anymore. And I think that this coup is very, very clear in the depths of our being as a nation. And even Wall Street is looking and saying, that does not work for us. Yeah. Even on that level, they can't sell their product or their whatever they're trying to sell. But it's just starting to happen. You're going to see this guy fade just like the color of his hair.
Malcolm Nance has a new book about the coming Civil War. Let's just hope for once Malcolm Nance is wrong.
Oh, I hope so.
I just hope so. Listen, this has been super special. And Martin, this has caused a lot of confusion because Travis and Chris, who are gay, had to keep telling me, he's not really the president, right? And I had to keep saying, he's not really gay, right? It's Grace and Frankie. It's just a TV show.
Just TV. Yeah.
This was fantastic. You are both patriots. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And
there you go.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Don't play it. He was going to play Donald Trump. Don't play it.
God bless the United States.
Okay. Thank God that's all.
That actually happened. His teeth actually fell out. He wears plate, and it fell out into his lion lips.
Yep.
Thank God this tragic experiment is over. Martin Sheen can stay in retirement as President Bartlett, and we have a real president. And Malcolm Nance, sailor, you continue to serve. We will see you next week. Mwah.